What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got the Cleveland Browns are in one of the worst situations of all time. Let's check this out.
The Cleveland Browns.
I love the Cleveland Browns downfall, bro.
With a 3-14 record
Real
and
shit.
the playoffs for the third time in 4 years.
Damn.
It was a very
Mark
long
Cooper
year
got
for the
lit
Browns,
up.
They had a point difference of -177, and they ended the year with 5 straight double-digit losses. And obviously, a 3-14 record isn't good to begin with, but there's a significant difference between a young team having a 3-14 record with clear building blocks on the roster that have showed there's a better tomorrow. But Cleveland is not a young team, at least not at key positions, and this presents a major problem because
especially on that D-line. That D-line old as shit.
Standpoint isn't that bad yet, as we saw in 2024, finished with the second worst record in the league. And I don't think it's an exaggeration to say, with where the Browns are now, they're in one of the worst situations of all time.
And it's all because they decided to give Deshaun Watson $230 million fully guaranteed. Oh my gosh. And then they about to lose this nigga right here. And what's crazy about this whole situation, because like ever since Denzel Ward said this, bro, this should have been sticking with me. He said he wants to play with Myles Garrett. So if Myles Garrett gets traded, I strongly think Denzel Ward is going to get traded too, or request a trade. Like, bro, the Browns are really about to lose 2 franchise cornerstones, bro. Only the Browns can somehow fuck shit up like this, bro. Like real shit.
Team that not even a decade ago went just 1-30.
Garrett, he wants to win a ring, bro. And I think like his top landing spot for real, he might go to the Lions, and that's gonna be dangerous.
Watson's contract and how it impacted the Browns as to where they are today. Obviously, that plays a part in where they are, and we will discuss Deshaun Watson, but it's a lot more than that. And we're going to break everything down in today's video. Now let's begin. And we are starting today's video by discussing what one of the problems heading into the 2024 season was for the Browns, regardless of
everything
that transpired during the 2024
everything's the problem with these
not
niggas.
Having a clear solution at the running back position, at least not for the entirety of the 2024 season.
Oh yeah, Nick Chubb gonna be a free agent too.
Saddened by how his 2023 season ended, especially given that it was just week 2, and we knew by the middle of September that his season was over, and potentially his career too. That was a very scary night in Pittsburgh, and obviously we're not going to show the play out of respect to Nick, but heading into the year with Jerome Ford, Pierre Strong, and Deontay Ford...
I mean, this is a crazy good running back class, so they can probably replace him, but you're not going to be able to replace prime Nick Chubb, bro. Like, that's just not going to happen for Cleveland, but they're going to be able to get, you know what I'm saying, get a running back in the second round, whether it's maybe Caleb Johnson or, you know what I'm saying, because I'm pretty sure Marion Hampton and Travion Henderson gonna be drafted in the first round. So you got guys like, you know what I'm saying, Quinshaw Judkins, maybe Jordan James, you know what I'm saying, running backs like that. Maybe Cam Scatterboo, who didn't, you know what I'm saying, participate in the combine. But you've got backs to choose from in the draft to try and replace Nick Chubb. And I feel like that's a big reason why I don't think Dallas is gonna draft a running back. I mean, you obviously got a generational guy in Genty, but it's a deep running back class, man.
And obviously there were a lot of justified questions heading into 2024 regarding Deshaun Watson and how he would play because, well, he didn't look like the player they traded for from the Texans during 2022 or 2023 outside of the second half of the Ravens game, of course. Watson had a season-ending injury in 2023 and heading into 24.
Shit, Watson might not even play this year. So like they're in a very interesting spot, bro, where they have so many needs, you know what I'm saying? And like, bro, in case the the Titans do trade back and somebody trades up for a quarterback, I don't know. I don't know if they take a shot on Shedeur, because Shedeur, you know, he's a good quarterback, but he's got a lot of problems too, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's not nearly as, you know what I'm saying, mobile as Cam Ward, who can extend plays. Holds onto the ball too long. Same goes for Cam Ward, but you know, he makes up for that with extending plays and shit. But I don't know, bro. Do they go like Abdul Carter? Do they go Travis Hunter? Do they draft Shedeur? Like, they got a lot of fucking needs. Do they shock everybody and draft Ashton Genty? Like, it's a lot they could do with that number 2 overall draft pick. Or shit, hell, maybe they even trade up with Tennessee.
Had over 300 receiving yards, but with how much the position can change at the snap of a finger, combined with the uncertainty of Nick Chubb's future, I would have liked to have seen another veteran back at the start of the 24 season. It is definitely worth noting, despite how fun the
Or they could
Browns
sign Aaron
were
Jones,
at
maybe.
times, that the Browns finished
I feel bad for
26th in
Aaron
yards
Jones
per
though.
carry as
Give it a
team,
buck,
and
but
averaged just 3.9 yards per attempt in 2023. That is. I don't think that was the end-all, be-all reason as to why the Browns weren't great last year, obviously, as the quarterback play was not good, and we all know that. But one other thing that is unfortunate for the Browns that has happened multiple seasons in a row now that contributes to the situation they're in is injuries along the offensive line. Jack Conklin has played in just 13 games over the last 2 years and has played in 12 games or more just twice in the last 4 years, despite being paid an average of $15 million per year. The best ability, of course, is availability, and that also applies to former first-round tackle Jedrick Wills. Jedrick has
I think
played
Jedrick gonna be a
16
free
total
agent
games over
too.
the last 2 years, and obviously everyone wants to dunk on the Deshaun Watson situation, and I get it, but the offensive line hasn't been able to stay healthy either. Deshaun himself has also been a net negative to the team, which I think is an understatement, but both things can be true.
Yeah, he got to take a salary cut though, bro. They got to somehow reconstruct his contract, because I think they already did, but they got to take some more money off his books. Not gonna lie.
Back to the 2020 season when this team beat the Steelers in the playoffs in the wild card round, and when they nearly beat the Chiefs in the divisional round, this team's future was extremely bright. They had Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, and
They ruined their relationship with Baker, bro.
26, and the offensive line looked like it was going to be around for a long time.
What the fuck?
And
Freaky
4 of
adding.
5 players from that offensive line are still on the roster, and Jedrick Wills, Joel Bitonio, Wyatt Teller, and Jack Conklin. The other
Bro,
was
don't remind me of this
Jason
game.
Treader, who retired after
Still don't
the
know how we lost this
2021
shit.
season. But now Jedrick Wills is 26 and can't stay healthy, and even when he's on the field, he's not great, and certainly a player you should have plans to move on from. Joel is 33 and entering the final year of his deal, and is not a player that should be regarded as a long-term plan, at least not at this point. Wyatt Teller will be 31 in November and is also entering the final year of his deal, and I don't think he should be regarded as a long-term plan at this point either, because remember, you have one shot at an NFL career. And now if you want to have the Deshaun Watson conversation with the first-round picks and how that messed up the outlook of this franchise, by all means, have it. We're at a point with the offensive line where they're aging and needing new contracts, and they're probably all going to be replaced within a year or two at the most, and there's a lot of concerns I have with the youth movement with this team for a couple of reasons. To address the couple of reasons part, there's a myriad of directions we can go, and I think the best way to start is by addressing the elephant in the room. At this point, I think Deshaun Watson has played his final down as a Cleveland Brown. He's obviously...
Yeah, I kind of think so too, bro, because, obviously, he retore his Achilles. I don't know how he did that, but he's most likely going to miss the whole year. So who do you get to replace them? At least for right now, because this is not a good quarterback class whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? So do you take a chance on Shador? You know what I'm saying? Or do you wait till next year? Because I feel like it's going to be a better draft class next year for quarterbacks.
I think the best way to view him at this point is attacks. Whatever the salary cap number is in 2025,
who knows, man?
And ultimately when his contract runs out, whatever that number is, take a couple of $1 million off the top. Take multiple $1 million off the top, and that's what you have left to work with for the rest of the team. We all know how bad the contract was, obviously the first-round picks and everything on top of that, but at this point, I don't think there should be any consideration in terms of Deshaun Watson coming back and legitimately playing meaningful snaps for the Cleveland Browns. I think we all have the same idea.
Yeah, we all miss Texans Deshaun Watson, man.
And move on and try
before that nigga started touching women.
There's two options that I think the Browns have entering the 2025 season, one of which is quarterback Kirk Cousins. I don't think Kirk will be a Falcon in 2025, and Kirk obviously has the history with Kevin Stefanski.
But they said they weren't going to cut him. Maybe they will trade him, but they didn't. They said they weren't going to cut him.
26 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, and the Vikings won a playoff game. That should also be noted that was the only playoff win of Kirk Cousins' career.
Damn.
It makes a lot of sense for the Browns at this point, as he would provide
kind
some
of crazy
stability, and I don't think the Kirk Cousins that we saw in the final 5 games of his Falcons tenure, which was 1 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, is anywhere close to the player that Kirk Cousins.
They should have benched him after he threw 4 picks against the Chargers.
Outlier relative to the player that Kirk will be. He threw 17 touchdowns to 7 interceptions prior to that final 5-game stretch, and I don't think Kirk will lead this team to a Super Bowl by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think he will provide one thing that the Browns desperately need at the quarterback position, and that is stability. Now, unfortunately for Kirk, I think there will be a situation in Cleveland very similar to what he endured last year in Atlanta, and I think it's the fact that the Browns will select a quarterback at number 2 overall, and I think there's a chance they trade up to number 1 overall with the Titans to go get Miami's Cam Ward. I think the Titans are in a more flexible situation with their head coach and GM.
Yeah, because they need pass rush and they need QB. Shit, they could go like,
from there.
I ain't gonna lie, they could go one of three players though. Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, or they could go Travis Hunter. I'm very intrigued to see what the Titans do with this pick, bro. This could be like the Chicago Bears situation all over again.
What Cleveland, the Giants, the Jets, the Raiders, or anybody offers, we are taking Cam.
But it's gonna cost to move up to number 1 overall.
And at that point, I think the Browns
never gonna be cheap.
At number 2 overall. I'm also at a point with the Browns where I think they are going to do everything they can to have fans try and forget about Deshaun Watson and the impact that he has on the team's salary cap every year, and they are going to do everything they can to try and bring a quarterback in to have the fans root for and to be able to have a guy to believe in for the next couple of years, because as we know, Deshaun Watson is obviously not that guy. Some of the other concerns I have with the Browns relative to where they are now is the fact that they're going to have to replace a lot, if not all, of their offensive line from where they were in 2024, and that's not an easy thing to
tough,
do.
Man.
Joel Bitonio is a
see what happens when you fuck up your future trying to pay a washed up quarterback, bro.
First ballot, but I think he'll eventually get in. Wyatt Teller is a 3-time Pro Bowler and a really good player when healthy. These are not going to be easy guys to replace, and I know Jedrick Wills has been up and down during his time as a Brown since being a first-round pick back in 2020, but he's still not going to be an easy player to replace. So if the offensive line struggles and they finish in the bottom 5 of a lot of categories offensively like they did in 2024, and they lose double-digit games again for what would be the 3rd time in 4 years, truly how long is Kevin Stefanski's leash? I don't think Kevin Stefanski has had a fair hand dealt to him at all, but truly, how
not for real. What's crazy, he's won Coach of the Year 2 times with the Browns. Like that's gotta tell a lot about him, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Kevin, we need to win more.
And they've never really had great rosters.
That guy, no matter how much crap was dealt to you from the start, and that's another thing that I worry about. And when you factor in that they're going to have a new quarterback, a new running back, mostly a new offensive line entering 2026 with potentially not having Kevin Stefanski as a head coach and a new coach that would not play a part in bringing those guys in the way that Kevin Stefanski did, needless to say, there's a lot of problems around the Cleveland Browns' current roster. Now, one of the other main reasons why I don't think it's an exaggeration to say the Browns are in one of the worst situations of all time, aside from the obvious, is this division is absolutely loaded. It's not enough to set your franchise back multiple years with a
like, bro, AFC North is the toughest division in the NFL, bro. You cannot argue with that, bro. Like, real shit.
A few months later. No, you also have the luxury of playing Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow for nearly a quarter of your schedule, both of which threw for over 40 touchdowns in 2024. Now, I think even the most optimistic Browns fans would acknowledge, barring an absolute miracle, they're probably not going to make the playoffs in 2025. But even if you do everything right and you have a span of hitting on your picks like the Lions did over the past few years in acquiring guys like Penny
I ain't gonna lie, Megatron, bro.
Like the Lions did over the
high top fade in the big 2025, bro. We're gonna have to shout your ass out. I'm not gonna lie.
In acquiring guys like Penny Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Ross St. Brown, and plenty of others, you are probably still going to have to play Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow twice a year, barring an Andrew Luck type surprise retirement, and then have the luxury of going against Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Lamar and Joe Burrow were each born within a month of each other, as Joe was born in December of 96 and Lamar was born in January of 97.
Damn, both of them unk now.
Years old, and I would be absolutely shocked if they're not there for at least
I love Lamar though, bro.
Years, and probably longer if we're being honest. So
that's my guy right there. That's my glorious king, nigga.
Ahead of them during the 2025 offseason, it's amplified knowing you have to
this play from Say was nasty.
Quarterbacks 4 times per year for close to the next decade, which is an extreme disadvantage for a team trying to rebuild. The Steelers obviously aren't a bad team, and I have my gripes with the Steelers, and I think that stems down.
I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. This might be a hot take for me, or it might not. It's time for Mike Tomlin to go, bro. I said it. Like okay, you've had, you know what I'm saying, you've never had a losing season. but you haven't won a playoff game since 2016. Bro, he's got to go. He's got to go at this point. Like, bro, there's no fucking way that, you know what I'm saying, they're going to keep Mike Tomlin for like the next couple years. There's just no way, bro. He's got to go. He's got to go.
Steelers obviously aren't a bad team, and
I'm a Ravens fan, bro. You know what I'm saying? I want to see the Steelers fail. But like, I don't know. Cause he's a great coach and all, but when you haven't won a playoff game in damn near 10 years, bro.
But the Steelers still made the playoffs in 2024, and they're not a team you can pencil in as an easy win. Now, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl with the way their roster currently is, and that could merit an entire video on its own, but the point is, I don't know if there's a worse division to be in a full rebuild mode than the AFC North, knowing you have Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow for 4 games a year for the next several years, and knowing they're not going anywhere. Now, I fully realize 2 of the Browns' 3 wins in 2024.
And the Bengals franchise tag T. Higgins. Free my nigga T, bro. Real shit. Hashtag free T. Higgins in the comments.
In the game, they beat the Ravens. Jameis
feel bad for that nigga.
334 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That go lie.
And the Browns put up 29 points. They had over 400 yards of offense, and the 29 points was the second most they put up in the 2024 season. That was also the first game Jameis started all year, and I think it's fair to point out that anytime a backup quarterback plays, at least initially, there's a bit of an adjustment period.
I forgot about this game.
To get used to the backup quarterback, and we eventually saw the downside of Jameis Winston, which of course is turnovers. The win against the Steelers was on Thursday night later in the year, and I think would have
oh my gosh, bro. Hold up. Y'all can't see this. Hold the fuck up. Oh my gosh. Yo. 13 touchdowns to 12 picks. Nigga. Oh my gosh, bro. That is disgusting.
The Ravens 4 days
oh
prior.
My gosh.
I absolutely hate when teams play division games on Sunday, especially Steelers Ravens of all games, then have to play on Thursday. That is extremely disadvantageous to the team, and it's dangerous to the players as well from a health standpoint. So I would legitimately argue 2 of the 3 Browns wins last year were outlier games, and I think the next time they played each other proved it a little bit, as the Steelers and Ravens each won by double digits the second time around. I know Bailey Zappi started the Week 18 game against the Ravens, but with the division on the line for Baltimore in Week 18, I don't think it's a hot take to say they would have beat any of Bailey Zappi, Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, or Dorian Thompson-Robinson. My point is, the AFC North currently is an absolutely brutal division to try and rebuild.
The hood of the AFC or the NFL in general.
Actually look like in terms of roster acquisition. Well, we discussed the idea of them bringing in Kirk Cousins, and I think that makes a lot of sense for both sides. We discussed the familiarity between Kevin Stefanski and Kirk Cousins, and I think it is also worth noting that Kirk is from the Midwest, and at this point, if Kirk...
He seemed like he's from the Midwest.
I think it would be a 2-team race between the Browns and Jets, and I do think Kirk would rather go to Cleveland at this point in time. Now, the Browns have 5 draft picks in the top 103 currently, and I do think there will be a 6th if they trade Myles Garrett. I think that would be a first-round pick in the 2025 draft and a first-round pick in the 2026 draft. I think it makes a lot of sense for him to be traded to the Eagles, and another team that he could go to is the Bills. But one way or another, I think it will be the Bills or Eagles' first-round pick. So there's a very real chance the Browns have 3 picks in the top 35, one of which would be used on a quarterback in addition to bringing in Kirk Cousins. And the main reason that I think they would also use a pick on a quarterback in addition to bringing in Kirk is because I think this franchise would want to do everything they can to try to have the fan base forget about Deshaun Watson and everything that has transpired over the past few years, and root for a player that they would call their own and a guy that would eventually compete against the Joe Burrows and Lamars in the division in meaningful football games in December or January. Now, with their other picks in the top 100, I think it would be a matter of best player available. This team is going to have a lot of holes in the near future, and whether it's this offseason along the offensive line or next offseason, there's no bad time to prepare for inevitable offensive line departures, or even defensive line departures in the case of Myles Garrett. So it would really be the sense of the best player available in pretty much every situation, whether that would be a guy like Nick Manwari, a safety from South Carolina, or Donovan Ezaraku from Boston College with both.
Oh, bro, yeah, Donovan Ezaraku's a demon. That nigga had 16 and a half sacks.
And then their second-round pick at the top of the.
And I watched a little bit of his film too, bro.
Picks on a running back like an Omarion Hampton from North Carolina or Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, long arms, which will really help you at the next level. Like unlike Mike Green, but Mike Green, like he got great hands and shit like that, so he gonna be just fine.
because Kirk
And he got a
Cousins is
nice
not going to
fucking
be a
pass
high-end
rush bag
process,
too.
and on top of it, they're going to have 5 picks in the top 103 and probably out of 6 if and when they trade Myles Garrett. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please like and subscribe, as only about 46% of people watching are subscribed and helps.
And subscribe to my man, bro.
Until next time, please be safe and have a great day. Love you guys.
Pause. But hey, man, shit, I don't know what you guys think down in the comments below. Y'all let me know what other NFL videos y'all want to react to. Without further ado, I'm out.
I'ma make them feel me, make them people when they chow me. And if you don't know me, I'ma make sure that you know me. I hate to say it, but I really think I'm broke. But I know I'm chosen, I really know I'm chosen. I know I'm chosen. I was just lost a year ago, but now I'm focused. When good at sports, this microphone can be my trophy. Not taking drugs, I found a better way of coping.